Earth Day 16, inline downhill. We're headed to Medellin, Bogota. I'm running late, so I'm gonna jump in my car right now. Bye!
As promised, here is the footage from the 360. I guess the lens wasn't that clean, but here we are right at the top, right by the cafe, getting started. We had a very good group. This was a Tuesday night, and look at all the people, so much fun. The camera is mounted on top of the helmet, so it's not very good at actually capturing me, which kind of stinks because when I angle it forward, it weighs a lot, so it pulls the helmet down. So for this one, I actually have it angled backwards so that the balance is a little bit better. The view does look good, but I can't see myself to critique my positioning or anything. But it is good looking at how all the other skaters position and how they manage the curves and everything. I learn the most from watching the other skaters, so it's incredibly helpful to be able to go down the mountain with so many people and to learn from so many people. Look at that tuck position. It is so hard to hold that and to hold your balance. We are going pretty fast. I would say averaging around 40 miles per hour. The more advanced skaters can definitely hit much higher than that, maybe 50. You can manage your speed with just a T-stop. You will burn through your wheels like that, but you can in fact do it. So that's what makes this entire thing so great. Here we come on the tunnel. Super cool. This is just too much fun. It's too much fun. And the road is pretty smooth. It's not that bad. Besides these little lights in the middle, the little reflectors. They're not along the entire highway, but they are in certain places, so you do have to be aware. So you don't hit it. It'll send you flying for sure. I really just don't get tired of this. It's so much fun, and it's so long that there's a lot that it challenges the body physically for, and mentally, of course. It's wild to be going right by these trucks. It doesn't feel that scary to me, those size trucks. I would say like the larger ones. Look at these two, so cute. Holding hands down the mountain. Adorable. Here we are at the first break. The first section is the longest. It's about 4 miles, so it really does test your endurance, but it is right at the beginning, so that's pretty good. I would say we break until everybody catches up. It feels like quite a long time, but it's probably something like 10 minutes, maybe less than that. Most of the time is spent getting ready and actually coming up the mountain in the bus. Look at this. This is so cool with all of these skaters. It's so inspiring. Everybody is so talented. A lot of these people have been doing this for years. So here I am. This is day 16 of inline downhill for me, but several of these people have been doing it for years and years. So there's a lot to learn. It is very slow progress because the stakes are high at these kinds of speeds. Millimeters make a difference. Look at the leg positioning. And around these turns, you get a lot of speed. You really gotta not get in your head too much. The thing is that it's much safer to be lowered down, to be in the position which is kind of like a squatting position. You're gonna have more stability, especially at the higher speeds, but our natural instinct as humans is to kind of stand up straight At least that's how I feel. So it's dangerous to do that, and you really have to kind of retrain yourself to stay low, stay low. Here we are coming up on the toll. There are a bunch of speed bumps right here. And this is for our second break. The second section is, I think, 2.5 miles. And we wait here for everybody else. Here we go. Panadero's got my camera. And there's Camilo right next to him. Montes, leader of the Adventure Rollers. This beginning bit is the most dangerous for me because we're all packed together and jostling forward, and there's just a lot of people, and I still feel a little bit nervous when I've got that many skaters around me. It feels like there's less room for error. Obviously, there's less room for error. And I definitely don't want to be the cause for anyone falling, and I don't want to fall myself. Check out how everyone maneuvers around each other. You see how people start pairing up and making lines as they're drafting off of each other? It's a very individual kind of sport because you're so in your own zone, but we do have to trust and rely on each other because we are going at high speeds, and when you get close it's hard to hear or see somebody right around you, so it's important to be very aware not to be moving back and forth. That's the biggest mistake I see with people who are heavily urban skaters, is that sometimes people, you know, as we're like coming down a hill or something, people will be swerving back and forth to manage their speed, but that kind of only works if you're maybe solo skating or if everybody's really spread out, because when there are a lot of people, swerving back and forth is taking up a huge amount of space and is very dangerous for any of the skaters behind you. So one of the key aspects for downhill is staying in your lane, staying nice and straight, signaling to others, not making sudden movements, signaling when you are getting over. Of course, it is competitive, so people are, you know, it's totally different during the race, but for safety, it's incredibly important. Look at this guy just filming as he goes down. That's some real skill there, holding the phone. One time I did see somebody's phone fall out of their pocket, but it was like somebody riding their motorcycle. That's gotta suck because we're going so fast. I don't know how you go back and pick something up like that. There I go. We're just coming up on the final break for the last section of the highway. Working on being able to do the soul while I'm actually on the highway. A lot of it is just psychological. Here is the final section, and this is also the competition section. Boom, that was the line that we just passed over. So you can see everybody's just racing. This is the fastest section of the highway. You get some very good speed. My highest speeds are on this section. I've got the camera back mounted on top of the helmet. And we just speed down. This is about a little bit less than 2 miles for the final section. And it does have a section where it is so very bumpy that you really just have to hold position. It's not a good idea to be braking at that section. Here we are. God, look at that view. It's just so incredible. It's absolutely breathtaking. It's phenomenal. I've never driven a motorcycle, but I feel like this is about what it's got to feel like. A little bit more intense because my body is actually aching as I hold position. And we're coming up on that final stretch. This is the final section of the competition, and then just here is the finish line. Just past this is where we start getting the really rough road. Here come the bumps. And it's also a turnaround, so there is sometimes some traffic that's merging on. Here it gets real rough, and you need to be holding position. Just past here is where the bakery is, and the traffic tends to get a little bit more congested here. There are some speed bumps, and basically you're entering back into the city. You can feel the temperature change. It's usually a lot warmer by the time we get down here. Woo, there are those speed bumps, speed humps. There was a bunch of traffic in front of us. You can usually just ride out the hill because it goes down and then comes back up, so you can manage the speed without having to eat up your wheels with T-stopping. But there was a lot of traffic in front of us, so the skaters were motioning to slow down. Sometimes we do cross a little bit higher up, so that's what we're actually going to do here. Because it was just some complete gridlock traffic in front of us, so better than trying to navigate through that. Nothing feels more awkward than this little climbing over this median. My muscles are all tired. I feel not very flexible, quite drained. And that's when the risk is. Actually, right here, somebody did nearly had a lot of speed, and then problem braking there. You can see her go. Luckily, Panadero was ahead and turned around to brake her. They both tumbled a bit, but nobody was seriously injured. And it was just because she was coming in at a very high speed towards those cars. You can see just to the left there. So thankfully, nobody was hurt. That's the importance of having so many skaters and knowledgeable skaters around, and making sure to maintain a kind of protocol for how you skate and how we do it, so that everybody can stay safe, because the stakes are high. It feels great, but anything can happen. And then here we are, back at the bakery. And that's it. Another successful evening.